So hi guys, Aditya this side, and today we are trying a new experiment. We are getting with us Mr. Nikhil. He is a security researcher and an international speaker, and we're trying this video format series to help you understand better about stuff from the experts. And our topic for today is how to securely manage your cryptocurrency, and how to ensure that your exchange is secure exchange and your funds won't be lost. Am I right, Nikhil?
Yeah, Aditya. So, firstly, thank you for bringing me onto this video series, and it's really great to sort of see the crypto industry growing like this at a very at a really great exponential rate right now. And I guess let's get started. It's sort of a really fun thing to be at this place right now.
Yeah, so I would want to start by just introducing you to the audience. So Nikhil, as I said, is a security researcher and an international speaker.
Yeah.
His area of interest includes web application security, mobile application security. He's currently pursuing an extensive research in implementing machine learning into security. So he's going to make your security even smarter, I guess. He's presented his talks at international and national level conferences and meets such as Nuit the Hack Paris, OSWAP AppSec International Conference, COCAN International Cyber Policing and Security Conference, DEFCON Bangalore Chapter, Null Open Security Meet Bangalore, Null Open Security Meet Mysore. He's also what you guys might know of called a bug bounty hunter, and has been listed and acknowledged in the Hall of Fames of companies like Microsoft, Apple, Adobe, Nokia, Engineered, and AVIRA Antivirus. So welcome, Nikhil, officially.
Thank you, Aditya.
I mean, the first thing I would want to ask you is that what do you actually do? Like, what do you actually do to find such massive bugs? Why do they call you like a bounty hunter, and how did you come in the Hall of Fame of such companies?
Okay. So the concept of the whole concept of bug bounty basically came in like 3 to 4 years ago, wherein companies like Microsoft, Adobe, Apple, and all that, they started introducing hackers from throughout the world, just go on and start testing for vulnerabilities or security issues onto their websites and networks and their whole infrastructure basically. So once they started doing that, the hackers, the whole hacker community, started researching bugs on these sites, and they were able to report to these companies, and they were able to fix it up and all that. So that over a course of time has become like a very transparent way of finding security issues and all that. So that, and in return they get paid well, or they might end up in Hall of Fames, or they might end up getting some t-shirts or swags or something like that.
All right. So assuming you have a lot of swag from all these companies now, huh? So what did you do to get this swag? I mean, like, how do you find these bugs which even these companies and their engineers and their teams of engineers miss?
Yeah, these companies, of course, they do have like a really good set of security engineers, but it's quite obvious that there is nothing called as 100% security. So there are chances that here and there you might see some small issues that are popping up, or there might have been a small bug that would have been just like left or unseen by the developers. So at that point of time, I mean, if anyone like a bug bounty hunter is able to find that and report it to them, that's what I kept doing. So there are typical bugs which are usually that usually go unnoticed from a security team's perspective. So those are the kind of bugs that we used to usually find and sort of report it.
So that's a very safe answer. Now, a little more unsafe answer. Can you like share a bug which you found? I mean, like, what was the magnitude of the bug and what was the problem you solved? I mean, that will give us a scale of what you helped these companies solve.
Okay. So I don't want to get completely into the technical side of it, because we are going to be, we are basically catering to the trader community here. So in one of the bugs that I found at one of these companies, so the bug basically allowed the attacker to access anyone's dashboard and sort of, post on their behalf.
Oh.
So, I mean, just by changing a couple of few values in the request that was made, the attacker was able to perform these kind of attacks. So I sort of found that and reported it to the authorities, the guys who manage the whole bug bounty programs, and henceforth, they're able to sort of rectify it and all that. So
Oh,
this is like just a brief way of uh, telling like how this whole thing worked.
yeah, that gives us a good example. So starting with the
Yeah,
crypto world, we all know that BitGrail got hacked, a Korean exchange got hacked. So the
exactly.
basic question here is that with all this hacking taking place and different means of securing your cryptocurrencies, why do you think there's a serious
Yeah.
need for knowledge, about security among the crypto traders? Why do you think they need to listen to this, video?
Okay. Okay. So I like, as we all know, the crypto industry is still growing. It's at a very young age right now. It's the early days of crypto, and it's quite obvious to see many crypto exchanges that are coming up, and we see that every new day is like you have like hundreds of ICOs that are coming up. But the problem here is this: there is also the fear of missing out that's there among the people. Henceforth people are not even thinking twice before they sort of sign up with any exchange for that matter. They don't see whether this exchange is trustable, as in, is it really secure in terms of their money is concerned or no. So people just they just look on the internet, they just search which are all the exchanges that are currently available in their country, and they just move ahead with signing up for one of these. But crypto exchanges today are basically running just like any other software company, with getting their products developed from a third party vendor, and then sort of just going live without getting any security testing done. So that's one of the primary reasons to worry. And like that sort of brings the fear amongst traders when you see 473 million got stolen. There was the Mount Cox hack. Basically people lost like 473 million, and the coin check that happened, that was like the biggest, I guess, which was 530 million. So things, when you look at things like these, I guess it sort of worries people or also scares people, right? So I guess this is one
Yeah,
of the primary reasons that there
why
has to
people
be a
should.
knowledge for that. Yeah.
So guys, if you've understood that what Nikhil has done up till now, and he really understands where he's coming from, it's important for you to understand how to be more
Yeah.
secure while trading crypto. So let's start with
Yeah.
the next question. What steps do
Sure.
crypto exchanges need to take care for them to be secure? Like if you had to like list down some 5 steps, what would these be? Yeah.
Okay, so the first step I would really suggest is please don't get your products developed from a third party vendor, because you never know if they are actually following the secure code practices, or if they have the security in place. So what basically happens here is this: because there is no policy, or there is no standard that the exchanges need to abide by yet. So that sort of becomes makes the exchanges pretty much like any other software company. So basically they make the product and they get into the production line, even, and most of the cases even without going through a series of tests. So here what happens is there might be a number of bugs or flaws or even security issues which just go unnoticed, and when an attacker gets to know, and it's quite likely possible in today's world, looking at all these hacks that have happened, I guess, I mean, I'm sure that time it's going to be a really tough time for the exchanges. When their accounts get hacked, or when the cryptos are they just get stolen and things like that. So that's one of the primary things that they need to take care of. Please make sure that your products are developed in house, or even if you get it tested outside, make sure you get it. Even if you get it developed outside, make sure you get it tested. Then the next thing they need to focus is basically the secure crypto uh, assets management. So this is actually a sort of a new phrase that has come out. So right from the beginning of the how the keys are usually generated, or how, and once the keys are generated, how are they stored, and how are they basically used, or and do they have like a protocol that they need to follow when these keys get usually compromised. And they need to take care of all these. This basically comes as like a secure crypto asset management. This is like a whole new term that's come out. And the next would be, do they have like a policy or a procedure that they need to follow, to whether or not to grant or revoke the access to a particular key holder. So these are some of the key points that they need to sort of keep like follow basically. Yeah, that's what I feel. And couple of other things, I guess most of the exchanges are already following about the cold wallets and the hot wallets. So the cold storage is basically, I'm pretty sure most of the exchanges are already following this of
Can you
storing
like
the.
just give us a little bit of info into cold and hot wallets? So I guess this
Yeah.
exchange hack which happened on Coinome was some amount got left in the hot wallets, which is a
Yeah.
token amount, and that got stolen. So you could just give the
Okay.
users a little bit more info into what's a cold wallet, what's a hard wallet.
Okay, so the cold wallet is the cold storage, or the cold wallet is basically the place where it is to an extent isolated from the actual the whole exchange. Okay, and the hot wallet is the actual wallet where the whole transaction and everything else happens.
So how
So
quick do they move the liquidity in between this? I mean, like how much do they store in the cold storage? How much in the hot wallet? Like, do you have any
so
ratios or any information on
exactly.
that?
So that completely depends on the exchanges for that matter. So I really don't know the exact number, how much is stored on. I mean, most of it is usually stored on the cold storage, and during the exchange process, it basically comes down to the hot wallet. So, hot wallet basically becomes the front here, and yeah. So these are a couple of the small things that they sort of need to keep in mind. I mean, hot and cold wallets are already present at most of the exchanges now. Another thing would be using of something called as HSM, so which is basically hardware security modules. I really don't see that being implemented in the crypto industry, though it is really necessary for them to sort of implement the HSM, because the banking industry has been using it from a very long time.
Okay. So moving on from the more technical stuff in banks,
Yeah.
to if you could tell us, are there any security standards or compliances that crypto exchanges need to follow?
Okay, so because it is at the very early stage, I would really suggest the crypto exchanges to go with what the banking industry is currently implementing. Because when you look at the banking industry or the fintech industry, there are tons and tons of compliances or standards or procedures or policies that they usually follow. I guess crypto industry being quite familiar to what banking industry and fintech industry is doing, I guess it's sort of good to go with them as well. Also, there is this new thing that I recently bumped into called the cryptocurrency security standards. So, which sort of is basically a set of modules and or a checklist that's been given for if you are setting up a crypto exchange or a crypto company. So it basically says what are all the different checks that you need to have if you're planning to sort of host this exchange online. So
Can you
these
like share this list with us after the interview?
yeah, sure. I'll share the link with you, or you could
Yeah.
just Google it. It's
Okay.
called cryptocurrency security standards.
All right.
Yeah, it's readily available on the internet. And exchanges basically needs to they need to understand the flow of the payment request, how it goes.
Mm.
So I mean, it's quite obvious that a person who is trying to make a really huge transaction, something like a 50 Bitcoin transaction at one shot, there has to be some sort of suspicion that needs to arise there at that point of time. I mean, I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
It can be even more. Okay, so there has to be like a different levels of security if a person needs to do such kind of a huge transaction. So if that is sort of taken care, I guess these security issues could be sort of curbed.
Yeah.
that
That's.
is that is one thing. Then another thing would be sort of getting external and internal auditing done. So once your product is ready, or if at all you don't have an in-house development team, if you're getting your products developed outside from a third party vendor, one of the best things to do is get it audited by these different firms that are there on security pen testing and all that. So once they sort of certify that okay, this exchange like is to an extent really good, as in terms of security, then you can go ahead Once that is also done, you could again go ahead with bug bounty programs wherein you're basically letting the whole world know that, hey, you know what, we have something called this bug bounty program opened. You guys can come in and let us know if we have any security issues, and we'll pay you for that. Or we have a hall of fame where we are going to be listing you. So that sort of makes it very transparent that, hey, you know what, we are actually open to flaws that we've got, and if you find any of the flaws, we are actually going to be awarding you. So that way, the responses that you might end up getting is going to be very huge when you open up something like bug bounty programs. Yeah. So
I
that
think
certainly.
a lot of crypto currencies though are putting up a lot of bug bounty programs. There is, I
Yeah,
think, some tokens also coming on bug bounty programs only. Yeah,
exactly.
so that's
Yeah.
pretty. That
So,
sounds.
so the first exchange that I personally saw was the Coinbase, that outrightly just came out and said, "Hey, we are completely open for bug bounty program, and if you guys find any sort of vulnerabilities or security bugs, you could directly come and report it to us." So there's a process that it goes through, and sort of then the bugs get rectified, and even the guy who gets to find this bug is also happy, and even the company is happy. So it's a win-win situation for both of them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
coming down to our users, what do you think are the key points to keep in mind while trading on exchanges? And
Okay.
with so many challenges, so many threats being involved, what are the best ways we could safeguard our crypto? Like, how do we safeguard our money here, and how do we trade safely?
Okay,
Basically.
okay. So firstly, getting down to the utter basics or the fundamentals. So I would suggest make sure you have like a really strong password. So when I say strong password, it's quite obvious that you're not supposed to use something that's there on the dictionary, or that's something that's easily guessable. Make sure your passwords are like alphanumeric with all these special characters into it. So that's one of the very bare basics that people need to follow. And make sure you keep your information very private, and so that you stay secure. Because the crypto industry is booming like this, we tend to see most people coming out outrightly and saying like, hey, you know what, I've invested so much of money in this particular coin, that particular coin, and all that. So that sort of letting out, you're basically letting people know, or the hackers know, hey, this guy has invested in this exchanges, or on these coins. Like, so that's outrightly going out and letting the hackers know about it. Simple. So that is one thing. And make sure you keep a separate mail ID, uh, just for all your crypto exchanges or whatever trading that you want to do. So that sort of completely, to an extent, avoids you, or sort of protects you from getting hacked, or being a victim to such kind of attacks at the user level. Then also make sure that you sort of you implement the two-factor authentication, or you could do it via the OTP mechanism, or you could also do it via the the Google Authenticator application. uh, the best would be if you could implement that with uh, whitelisting a single IP address with your VPN on it. So that certainly works. So they could do that. And I guess it's needless to say that make sure that you're staying safe from all these phishing attacks or wishing attacks. Don't give out your any personal details out on the internet just like that. And make sure you spread all your currencies, or the cryptocurrencies, into different multiple wallets, so that even if one gets hacked, if even if one exchange gets hacked somewhere, the rest of your money is completely safe, the rest of your currencies are completely safe. As they say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So it's pretty much the same. And one more very important thing, I would really suggest people to do is use exchanges only for exchanging, and not for storing your currencies onto them. So or you could as well go with the decentralized exchanges, which is a better option, I personally feel. Or you could probably get one of the hardware wallets or paper wallets. That certainly works. So these are a couple of things that people can sort of go with, in terms of securing themselves and their cryptocurrencies.
That pretty much sums a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
seeing a lot of hardware wallets coming out, the Ledger, the Trezor. Do you have a hardware wallet with you? You're preaching a hardware wallet.
Yeah, I do use a Trezor with me. I guess I don't have it right now,
Right.
but yeah, I do use a Trezor, a hardware wallet, because you never know. Like, when you look at things like BitGrail getting hacked, and like 160 million is gone, and like that really sort of scares me as well. Looking at these different exchanges that are getting hacked. Yeah. So I guess it's always good to keep store your money with yourself than keeping it on any exchanges. Yeah.
So, with these challenges, what do you think the crypto trading community should do, to make sure that the exchanges follow these security standards? How do we tell them that, bro, you gotta like follow these? It's some money that's online, so don't screw with it.
Okay. So I would really suggest that people have to this has to sort of become a movement wherein the exchanges have to sort of really gear up for bringing the best security possible on their board. This is really needed because the hacks that are happening right now are sort of bringing a sense of confusion and a sense of fear amongst people in investing in cryptocurrencies. So that shouldn't happen because of such huge millions of monies that are just getting hacked and are being stolen. So I guess the exchanges need to come out outrightly and say, what, we are completely open for these you know uh, responsible vulnerability disclosure, wherein if you find any sort of security issues with us, you come out and let us know. We'll make sure we patch it up, and we'll be open to it. And also, the traders could sort of ask these exchanges that if they're following the policies or any security standards that needs to be implemented.
We could
So
just tweet out to them.
yeah, exactly. They could go on in social media and tweet out to these exchanges. Yeah, that also should work.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So that was it, Nikhil, from my side. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot. This was a good
Yeah.
discussion on
Yeah. It was indeed a great discussion.
how could
Yeah.
we ensure more security for our crypto and our exchanges. In fact, I'm
Yeah.
going to implement a little bit of two-factor myself in some places now. I got to go do
Yeah.
that ASAP.
Yeah.
It was fun
Yeah.
having you here. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we have some really good crypto security, rather cyber security experts in the group. Uh,
Okay.
I'll
That's
connect you
great.
with them, when we post this video. And thank
Sure.
you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Bye
Thanks a
bye,
lot.
guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye.